mixed martial arts, you can have the highest of highs, lowest of lows. And for someone like you who has multiple fights potentially in one night, like some coaches are lucky, they have the one fight and that's it. And once again, like this is, I guess, the payoff of only having one fighter that you need to deal with compared to having a gym where you've got multiple fighters. How do you handle obviously if the night's going well and you go 3 from 3 or 4 from 4, it's pretty easy. I guess it's a good day in the office. But say like you have 4 fights, and I think even the I card you had a few where I think you had 2-3 losses on. How hard is that to, I guess, tell the fighter that's just lost, all right, I've now got to go deal with someone else. Sorry, you're gonna have to lick your wounds yourself. And 2, how is it like mentally to kind of let that go because you've got the next fight, and then maybe if you go 2 fights down, like, you know what I'm trying to say,
Oh, absolutely, yeah. The best I can tell you, it's like jumping out of an airplane about 3 different times in a row. And a lot of that needs to be led up to communication with your fighters prior, right? So I'll make sure that they understand, the fighters understand, hey, look, here's the way we're going to run the back of the house. I try to use every single scenario that I can come up with and train for that. Okay, here's how we're going to warm up in the back. You might not be in the same dressing room as us. Can we make that happen? Can we do this? Can we handle this? If it can't happen, you have to understand we might need to bring another coach. We might need to do this. We might need to do that. Try to bring up every possible scenario to try to hinder some of that or to make the fighter at ease, right? That's my job, is to make them feel like they're comfortable and taken care of. Now, right when that fight's over, win, lose, or draw, it's my duty to make sure that I'm back and I am focused and dialed in right now on them. Right now on them, no matter what happens. Of course, when you win, you're going to come in with a little bit better energy. But even when we lose, it's equally as more important for me to come in higher, right? Hey, we're good. Let's rock and roll. We ready to rock? Just like nothing has ever happened. You look at Eugene Bierman last night. I think he had 4 guys. You have 4 fighters, and they went 2-2, I believe.
2-2.
So he has to be kind of on that. In Jacksonville for us, we went 3-0. We had Francis. But then it was a card later, and it was Dan Ige and Claudia Gadelia. And Claudia and Dan were literally back-to-back. And it was Dan won, run back and be ready there right away for Claudia and head back out and do your thing. So it is a roller coaster ride. It's what some of the funnest times and most stressful times you're going to have. But you have to refocus and dial back in for that fighter right away, and no matter the outcome of the fight before.
Has there ever been a moment, though, like say your first one, being a loss or even a win, I guess, and a fighter basically being hospitalized and they've been taken away? And has that ever played, like, obviously knowing you've got a job at hand, but then also being worried about the well-being of that fighter? Has that ever happened?
Yeah, I had a Gray Maynard when he fought Nick Lentz. It was his last fight in the UFC. And then I was supposed to go back and corner Yana Kunitskaya, and then the way the fight went with Gray, he wasn't hospitalized. And I didn't feel right leaving him alone. I was like, hey, I'm just going to stick back. And Yana was well taken care of. She had everybody she needed. It wasn't an issue at all. I wasn't the head coach in that regard. It was Ray Sefo. So sometimes, depending on the situation, it makes more sense. But thankfully, I've had, guys get sent to the hospital and, not thankfully, but it's usually, it was a main event scenario where one of my guys fought prior was Dan Ige, and then Kevin went to the hospital after, so to get stitched up. So I was able to go with him or be involved or be close to the situation. So, you try to plan for all of that stuff, and if something like that were to happen, you just always tell like the second in the corner, like, hey, look, if this were to happen, you're going to be the one to go. So you try to plan for as much as you can.